Life will not give you a reset button. You have to create it. You have to say, enough. Enough of waking up uninspired. Enough of letting fear dictate my steps. Enough of settling. Enough of talking about change and never making it. You've got to force it, because if you wait for perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. If you wait for motivation to show up, you'll be waiting forever. You don't need a sign from the universe. This is your sign. Right here. Right now. Look in the mirror and be honest. Are you living the life you're proud of, or are you just going through the motions, checking boxes, hiding from your potential? Your future isn't built on comfort. It's built in those hard moments where you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, growth over excuses. Forcing yourself to reset means cutting off the old story. Maybe you've been through pain, we all have. Maybe you failed. Maybe you've been betrayed, broken, forgotten. That pain is real, but it doesn't define you. What defines you is what you do next. Resetting your life is not about erasing the past. It's about learning from it, letting it fuel your fire and writing a new chapter with intention. That means changing your routine, changing your habits, changing the way you talk to yourself. If you want new outcomes, you need new inputs. You need to disconnect from everything that's been draining you and reconnect to everything that can build you. Cut the dead weight, cut the toxic voices, cut the doubts. It's time to get back to the real you, the one with vision, hunger, and fight. Reset doesn't happen overnight, but it does start with one decision, one step. One honest conversation with yourself. You don't need to know the whole path, just commit to the first mile. Commit to doing what you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. That's where real strength lives. Not in comfort, but in commitment. And let me tell you this, you are not too far gone. You are not too late. Your mistakes do not disqualify you. There is more ahead of you than behind you, but you have to believe it. You have to decide that your future matters more than your past, that your purpose matters more than your pain, that your growth matters more than your guilt. Sometimes we find ourselves moving through life like we're stuck in quicksand. You wake up every day, follow the same routine, go to the same job, see the same people, think the same thoughts, and end the day with the same empty feeling. You start asking yourself, why does everything feel so heavy? Why does every day feel like a copy-paste of the last? That's the moment right there that you've got to recognize something critical. You're stuck. Life has you on repeat, not because it has to be this way, but because somewhere along the way, you stopped moving with purpose. You stopped checking in with your vision. You stopped growing, and you got caught in a loop of survival instead of intentional living. The first step to resetting your life isn't a big action, it's awareness. It's the courage to be brutally honest with yourself and admit that you're not where you want to be. Most people never reset because they never admit the truth. They numb themselves with distractions, they convince themselves this is just how life is supposed to be, and they stay stuck for years, sometimes for life. But not you. You're here because something inside of you knows this isn't the end of your story. That voice, even if it's faint, is trying to wake you up. It's saying you were made for more than this. This cycle is not your destiny. When you recognize that you're stuck, you gain your power back. You start seeing that your frustration, your boredom, your burnout, they're not the enemy. They're signals. They're alarms going off inside your soul saying it's time to change something. It's time to stop existing and start living again. But here's the deal, recognizing it isn't comfortable. It hurts to admit you've been coasting. It hurts to realize you've been betraying your own potential. But pain is not your enemy. It's your ally. It's trying to push you out of your comfort zone and into your calling. This awareness should spark something inside you, the desire to take responsibility. Not just for how you got here, but for where you're going next. You can't hit reset if you're still playing the blame game. You can't move forward while holding on to old excuses. You've got to face the man or woman in the mirror and say, I allowed this, I settled for this, but I won't keep living like this. That kind of honesty is rare, but it's powerful, because once you own it, you can change it. Recognizing that you're stuck also means recognizing that you've been avoiding the uncomfortable, you've been doing what's easy instead of what's necessary. You've been keeping busy but not productive. You've been surrounded by noise, but you haven't been hearing your own inner voice. When you slow down long enough to hear it, it will tell you the truth you've been trying to avoid. And that truth will sting, but it will also free you. It will strip away the lies you've believed, that you're not good enough, that it's too late, that you've missed your shot. None of that is real. It's just the story you've been living inside. And the beautiful thing about stories, you can always rewrite them. So the moment you recognize that you're stuck, it's not the end, it's the beginning. It's the moment you get to choose again. You get to reevaluate your values. You get to reimagine your goals. You get to decide who you want to become, not based on your past, but based on your vision. That moment of realization is a powerful reset button, but only if you act on it, because recognition without action is just regret waiting to happen. But let me tell you, resetting your life isn't a one-time event. It's a mindset. It's a constant willingness to pause, reflect, and redirect when you realize you veered off course. Some people live their entire lives never checking in with themselves. They keep running with no map. But when you recognize that you're stuck and you stop long enough to ask why, you're already ahead of the game, because now you have awareness, now you have choice, now you have momentum. So don't ignore the signs. Don't silence that inner voice that keeps whispering, there's more for you. Geez, that's not fantasy. That's your future calling out to you. Answer it. Don't wait for life to knock you down to get your attention. You don't need a crisis to grow. All you need is a decision. Force yourself to reset before life forces it on you. Recognize where you are, and more importantly, recognize that you don't have to stay there. This is your life, this is your time, and this is your wake-up call. You have to understand something right now. Change doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't sneak up on you and magically fix your life. If you're waiting for a new feeling to suddenly take over, for the stars to align, or for some motivational wave to carry you forward, you're going to be stuck forever. Real change requires force. You've got to break your own pattern. You've got to disrupt your own habits. You've got to interrupt the version of you that's been keeping you in the same cycle day after day, month after month, year after year. You don't need another excuse. You don't need another delay. What you need is a decision to do what's hard, uncomfortable, and necessary right now. Your brain is wired to protect you, to keep you safe, and to avoid discomfort. So what does it do? It builds patterns, habits, routines. And while some are helpful, many are just familiar prisons. You wake up, grab your phone, scroll through distractions, start your day, already reacting instead of leading. You eat what's easy, not what's right. You talk about your goals, but never move toward them. You say tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next year. This is not because you're lazy or weak. It's because you've gotten trapped in patterns. Patterns are powerful, but they're not permanent. You built them, and you can break them, but not by wishing, by forcing change into them. Force doesn't mean aggression. It means intent. It means choosing to act even when everything inside you wants to stay the same. It means waking up and doing what you don't feel like doing until it becomes who you are. If you're going to reset your life, you can't ease your way into it. You have to rip the old rhythm out by its roots and plant something new. That means cutting distractions, walking away from comfort, and saying no to what you've always said yes to. That means no longer letting your feelings decide your future. That means no longer letting your past be your prediction. Breaking your pattern starts with catching yourself in the moment. It's the moment you want to sleep in, but you get up anyway. It's the moment you want to argue, but you walk away instead. It's the moment you want to quit, but you push one more step forward. These are not dramatic moments. They're small battles, won in private, but every time you win one, you're breaking the cycle. You're creating a new path, and each small win compounds. Each act of discipline, no matter how small, is a vote for the future you want to build. Look around at your life. Everything that frustrates you is tied to a pattern you're repeating. Your stress, your stagnation, your dissatisfaction, it's all being fed by what you keep doing, what you keep thinking, and what you keep avoiding. So if you want different results, you have to do different things, and not once, not for a week, but until it becomes your new standard. Because the truth is, most people don't lack talent, they lack consistency. They don't lack dreams, they lack disruption. They're not tired of life, they're tired of the loop. They refuse to break. You need to shake yourself out of the days you've been living in. You need to question your routine, not just follow it blindly. You need to examine your choices, not just repeat them unconsciously. When's the last time you asked yourself, is this habit building my future or blocking it? That's the level of self-awareness it takes to break a pattern. You can't fight what you won't face. You can't change what you won't challenge. But here's the truth. You are not powerless. You are not stuck forever. You are not broken beyond repair. You're just patterned, and that's something you can fix. That's something you can rewire, but only if you stop playing small with your own life. Only if you stop being passive. Only if you stop giving your habits more power than your vision. The life you want is waiting, but it will not come to the old version of you. It will only respond to be you that is bold enough to break free, to rewire your mind, and to rebuild with discipline. So today is the day you stop letting your patterns run. Today is the day you stop settling for the loop you hate. Today is the day you do something different. Not because it's easy, but because your life depends on it. Patterns don't break by chance. They break when you force a new standard into your daily life. One step at a time. One decision at a time. One disciplined act at a time. You want change? Good. Now go create it. Force yourself to break the pattern, and the reset you've been praying for will follow. There's a moment in every person's life when they have to come face to face with the truth that nobody is coming to save them. Nobody is going to hand them a better life. Nobody is going to walk in and erase the mistakes, remove the pain, or build the dream. That's your job. That's your responsibility. And the moment you realize that is the moment you start to take your power back. Because responsibility is not a burden, it's a breakthrough. When you stop blaming your circumstances, your past, or the people who hurt you, and you start taking ownership of everything in your life, your habits, your mindset, your actions, you unlock the door to change. It's easy to point the finger. It's easy to say they hurt me, or this happened to me, or life isn't fair. Maybe all of that is true. Maybe you didn't deserve the pain, the loss, the rejection. Maybe you were overlooked, misunderstood, or pushed aside. But if you keep waiting for someone to make it right, you'll be stuck in that same pain for the rest of your life. The world doesn't owe you healing. The world doesn't owe you a comeback. You owe it to yourself to rise, to reset, to reclaim your life, and turn your story into something powerful. Taking full responsibility means refusing to be a victim of your circumstances. It means saying, no matter what happened to me, I still choose how I respond. I still choose how I move forward. I still choose who I become. That's not denial, it's dominance. It's stepping into the mindset of someone who's not going to let their history dictate their destiny, saying, I am the author of this next chapter, and picking up the pen with confidence. You can't reset your life if you're still anchored to excuses. Every time you say, I can't, because you give your power away. Every time you say it's too late, you rob yourself of potential. Every excuse might feel real, but it's not more powerful than your choice. You can choose to rise, you can choose to grow, you can choose to start over, but only when you're willing to own the life you've built, even if it's not what you wanted, and take control of the life you're about to build next. Responsibility doesn't mean blame, it means leadership. It means being in charge of your thoughts, your reactions, your schedule, your energy. You can't control everything that happens around you, but you can absolutely control what you do with it. That control is your power. That's your edge. The people who win in life are not the ones with perfect lives. They're the ones who take imperfect lives and build something meaningful from them. They take the pain and turn it into purpose. They take the mess and create a message. But it starts with taking responsibility, with saying, this is my life and I will shape it. It's not always easy. Sometimes taking responsibility means admitting that you let your potential sit on the sidelines. It means facing the truth that you've avoided the work, ignored the signs, and coasted through days that were meant for growth. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's also the beginning of your freedom. Because once you admit it, you can change it. You're not stuck. You're just one honest decision away from resetting everything. Taking full responsibility also means being proactive, not reactive. Don't wait for the job to collapse, the relationship to fall apart, or your health to hit rock bottom. Reset now. Start making the changes before life forces you to. Take charge of your habits, your environment, your circle. Protect your peace, feed your mind, and train your body. Speak life into your goals. Hold yourself accountable, because when you do, you stop living in fear and start living in freedom. The truth is, no one will ever care about your life more than you do. That's why you have to take the lead. That's why you have to stop outsourcing your happiness, your growth, your healing, and your progress. Own it. Own the past. Own the present. Own the future. Be the one who says no more excuses, no more delays, no more blaming the world for a life I have the power to change. So make that shift. Stop waiting for someone to push you. Stop waiting for something to rescue you. Stand up, look in the mirror, and make a promise. From this moment forward, I take full responsibility for my life. That decision right there is the beginning of your reset. And once you take responsibility, there's no limit to what you can rebuild. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to let go, not because you're weak, but because part of you is still holding on to what's familiar. Even if it's hurting you, you know deep down that in order to reset your life, you can't carry everything from the old version of you into the new one. Yet still, you hesitate. You try to drag people with you who are only meant for a chapter, not your full story. You try to hold on to habits that are choking your progress. You try to move forward while still anchored to things that already prove they're not meant for your future. But hear this, you can't grow while you're holding on to what's breaking you. Reset requires release, and letting go isn't a weakness, it's an act of strength. Growth demands space. Space in your mind, space in your heart, space in your schedule. You can't reset your life and keep carrying the weight of your past pain, failed relationships, toxic habits, and limiting beliefs. You got to clear the ground to build something new. Just like a gardener has to remove the weeds before planting fresh seeds, you've got to remove what's been crowding your life if you want anything new to grow. Letting go means making hard decisions. It means choosing progress over comfort. It means saying goodbye to versions of yourself that were necessary for survival, but not for success. Maybe that version of you needed to be guarded, silent, or people-pleasing to make it through a difficult time. But that version can't come with you into your future. That version has served its purpose. Now it's time to release it and become who you were always meant to be. Holding on keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small, and you were not built to live small. Sometimes it's not even about people or circumstances, it's about your own mindset. Letting go might mean releasing the guilt that's been sitting on your chest. It might mean forgiving yourself for the times you fell short. It might mean stopping the loop of negative self-talk and finally telling yourself, I deserve better. I can be better. You can't reset your life if you're still punishing yourself for the past. You can't move into new blessings if you're still believing old lies. Freedom starts when you decide that your future matters more than your fear. It's not easy. Letting go can feel like loss. It can feel like you're betraying something you've held on to for so long. But sometimes what you're clinging to is the very thing blocking your breakthrough. You've got to trust that when you let go, you're not falling, you're making room to rise. You're not losing, you're clearing space for something greater. You're not walking away from your life, you're walking into it. The best version of you doesn't live in the past. It doesn't live in your comfort zone. It lives on the other side of your release. Resetting your life is a process, and part of that process is separation. Separation from distractions. Separation from things that once fit but now feel tight. Separation from drama, from old roles you played, from the emotional weights you've carried for far too long. You can't keep saying you want peace while entertaining chaos. You can't keep saying you want clarity while surrounding yourself with confusion. Every time you hold on to something that no longer serves your growth, you're making a choice to delay your progress. Letting go also means trusting the unknown, and that's scary. But growth always involves uncertainty. You don't need to know exactly what's ahead. You just need to know that staying stuck isn't an option. You have to believe that something better exists, even if you can't see it yet. That's what faith is. Faith is letting go of what's familiar and walking toward what's possible. That's how you reset. Not by figuring everything out in advance, but by taking one bold step forward and trusting that life will meet you there. You owe it to yourself to release what's heavy, to release what's toxic, to release what's false. You owe it to yourself to stop watering dead plants and start planting new ones. You owe it to yourself to stop replaying what went wrong and start focusing on what could go right. Resetting your life is not about running away, it's about realigning with who you really are and where you're meant to be. So breathe. Let go. Trust the process. And remind yourself daily you're not defined by what you walk through. You're defined by how you rise from it. The stronger, wiser, freer version of you is waiting. But you can't step into it with arms full of baggage. Let it go. All of it. And walk into your reset lighter, clearer, and more powerful than ever before. When you decide to reset your life, it's not enough to just say, I want change. You have to actually build it. And building doesn't happen with wishful thinking or vague intentions. It happens through structure, through clarity, through a clear plan and consistent effort. You can't reset your life by just stopping the old. You must also start something new, and that new has to be shaped with intention. If your future is important to you, then so is the foundation you lay today. A reset without direction is just chaos. It's movement without purpose. You'll end up exhausted but still in the same place. That's why you need a new vision and a solid structure to support it. Vision gives you a reason to move forward. It reminds you why you started. It shows you what you're chasing. Without a clear vision, you'll end up distracted by things that don't matter. You'll say yes to things that pull you away from your purpose. But when you have a strong vision, it becomes your filter. It helps you decide what to ignore, what to avoid, and what to focus on. It's not just about goals, it's about clarity. Clarity about who you want to become, what kind of life you want to build, and what values you're going to live by. That clarity becomes your compass. But a vision is only the beginning. Once you have it, you've got to break it down into structure, into habits, into systems. Because emotion fades, but structure stays. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel ready. But if you've built the right routine, the right environment, the right plan, you don't have to rely on your feelings. The structure will carry you. Most people fail, not because they don't have dreams, but because they don't have systems. You need a schedule that reflects your values. You need routines that align with your priorities. You need space in your life where growth isn't an afterthought, it's intentional. You gotta ask yourself, what does the best version of me do daily? How do they spend their time? What do they read, eat, think about, and focus on? That's how you reverse engineer your reset. You don't become a new person by accident. You become one by design. And design requires discipline. You have to carve out time for growth. You have to protect your energy. You have to stop giving your attention to things that don't move you closer to your vision. Resetting your life with structure means making time for the things that truly matter: your health, your mindset, your goals, your relationships. It means setting boundaries. It means getting serious about what you let into your day. It means saying no to distractions, to drama, to meaningless scrolling and mindless noise. You can't keep feeding yourself junk mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and expect to feel strong. What you put in is what you get out. Build a structure that feeds your strength. And it's not just about your time, it's about your environment. If you want to reset your life, reset your surroundings, clean your space, organize your priorities, surround yourself with people who challenge you, not comfort your complacency. Your environment shapes your energy. If you're always around negativity, laziness, or people who have no vision, it's only a matter of time before you sink into that same pattern. Build an environment that inspires you to rise. You also need checkpoints. Moments where you pause and reflect. Is this routine working? Is this structure still aligned with where I want to go? A reset isn't something you do once, it's something you manage. A constant rebalancing. A lifelong process of self-awareness and adjustment. You need to be both the architect and the inspector of your life. Build it, but also audit it. Ask the hard questions. Make the changes when needed. Don't confuse being busy with being aligned. Don't confuse exhaustion with progress. A structured life is not a rigid life. It's a focused one. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Resetting your life with a new vision and structure means waking up with purpose. It means eliminating chaos. It means living with a sense of direction that pushes you to grow even on the days you feel stuck. So sit down with yourself. Get clear on your vision. Write it out. Speak it out loud. Then break it into actions, into habits, into a schedule that supports it. Because once your vision is clear and your structure is solid, momentum starts to build. Progress becomes consistent. Confidence grows. And that's when your reset stops being a moment and becomes a movement. You have the power to redesign your life, but you have to be intentional. Don't just hope for a better future. Build it. One focused habit at a time. One aligned decision at a time. That's how you reset your life for real and make it last. There's a common misconception that in order to change your life, you need to feel inspired every single day. People wait for motivation like it's a bus they can catch, hoping it will show up, pick them up, and take them to their dream life. But let me be honest with you, motivation is unreliable. It's emotional. It comes and goes. If you build your future on how you feel, you'll always be on shaky ground. The people who truly reset their lives don't depend on fleeting feelings. They build their transformation on discipline. They show up whether they feel like it or not. And that's what makes the difference. If you're serious about resetting your life, you've got to stop waiting to feel ready and start getting disciplined. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. It's showing up early, staying late, and sticking to your goals, even when the excitement wears off. It's waking up tired, but going to the gym anyway. It's choosing a book over endless scrolling. It's going to work on your dream after your 9 to 5 is over. It's saying no to distractions that promise short-term pleasure but steal long-term progress. Discipline is a mindset, a lifestyle, a daily commitment, not a mood. And if you want to reset your life, you need that kind of mindset driving you every single day. There will be days you don't feel like it. Days when your body is tired, your heart is heavy, your mind is racing, and everything in you wants to take the easy road. But it's in those moments that the reset is being tested. Anybody can move forward when things feel good. Anybody can talk big when life is smooth. But the reset becomes real when you're uncomfortable and you still choose to push. That's when growth happens. That's when your old self starts to break and your new self begins to rise. You don't need motivation every day. You need a reason every day. A strong reason. A reason that goes deeper than just looking good or impressing people. You need a reason rooted in your values, your purpose, your future. Discipline thrives on reason. When your why is strong, you can suffer through the how. But if you're just chasing feelings, you'll quit the moment things get tough. That's why so many people never finish what they start. They rely on emotions instead of commitments. Resetting your life through discipline means building non-negotiables into your day. Not I'll do it if I have time, but I'll do it no matter what. It means designing your day with intention, getting up with a plan, blocking time for what matters and cutting out what doesn't. It means creating a routine so solid that it holds you together even when life tries to pull you apart. You don't need to be extreme, you just need to be consistent. Small disciplined steps every day will take you further than giant emotional leaps once in a while. And let's be real, discipline is hard. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice. But so does staying stuck. So does living in regret. So does waking up every day knowing you're not being who you were called to be. You get to choose your hard, the pain of discipline or the pain of disappointment, the pain of pushing forward or the pain of staying behind. One leads to growth, the other to regret. If you're going to struggle either way, choose the struggle that leads somewhere. Discipline also builds confidence. Every time you follow through, you build trust with yourself. You prove to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can stay committed, that you can keep promises to yourself. That's how self-esteem grows, not through compliments from others, but through commitments to yourself that you keep. The more confident you become, the easier it is to stay on the path. That's the beautiful thing about discipline. It multiplies. One act of discipline creates momentum for the next. So if you want to reset your life, stop chasing motivation and start chasing mastery. Start chasing the version of you who wakes up early, sticks to their plan, handles their business, and builds their future one brick at a time. That person isn't built on hype, they're built on habit. You can become that person. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. All it takes is one choice, one act of discipline, and then another, and another. The life you want is possible, but it's not waiting for your mood to change, it's waiting for your discipline to show up. Get up, get focused, get committed. Not because it's easy, not because you're in the mood, but because you said you were ready to reset your life. And if you meant that, discipline is the only way forward. Your life will never truly change until you make a firm decision to reset it, not just emotionally, but practically, mentally, and intentionally. Saying you want to reset your life means absolutely nothing if your actions don't reflect that commitment. It's easy to say you want to start over, to grow, to become something better, but doing it, that's another level. The truth is, this journey won't happen by accident. It's going to take daily focus, personal accountability, and unshakable discipline to move from who you are now to who you're meant to be. Resetting your life is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle, a commitment you make with yourself every single day, especially on the days when you don't feel like it. People think change starts with motivation, but motivation is just a spark. It's not enough to carry you through the hard parts, because once the emotion fades, once the excitement dies down, once life starts throwing punches again, you're going to need something more. That something is discipline. It's the decision to show up even when it's boring, even when it's difficult, even when no one is watching. It's getting up early when your body wants to sleep in. It's making the right choices when no one would blame you for slipping. It's focusing on your goals when distractions are screaming for your attention. That's what resets are made of. Not hype, but habits. You've got to start acting like your life depends on it, because it does. Too many people live like they have forever, like they can waste time, ignore their calling, avoid healing, delay growth. But time isn't waiting. Life doesn't pause until you're ready. Every day you spend drifting is a day you could have spent building. Every day you spend distracted is a day you could have been locked in, focused and stepping toward your breakthrough. Resetting your life means stepping into urgency, not panic, but purpose. Not stress, but structure. You don't need chaos in your life anymore. You need clarity. You need to wake up with intention, not just get through the day, but own the day. That means removing the fluff, simplifying your life, identifying what's essential and eliminating everything else. There are people, habits, routines, and even thoughts that are weighing you down, draining your energy, keeping you small. You can't carry all that into your new season. You want a new life, but you want to keep old patterns. You want to reset, but you keep repeating the same behaviors. That's not how this works. A real reset means a real shift. You've got to change your standards, not just your schedule. Raise the bar on what you accept from yourself. Seek higher expectations into your life and then live up to them. It also means building systems that support your transformation. Don't rely on willpower alone. Build a structure that makes it easier to succeed than to fail. Create routines that align with your goals. Build a morning that sets the tone. Create a night routine that resets your mind. Put things in place that protect your peace, your energy, your time. Life doesn't get better by chance, it gets better by design. That's your job now, to design a life that reflects your values, your dreams, and your growth. Don't forget, progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it looks like going to bed early instead of staying up late to overthink. Sometimes it looks like saying no to a party so you can say yes to your purpose. Sometimes it looks like making the right choice when no one claps for you. But those small, quiet victories, that's where the real change lives. That's where your reset becomes real. You also have to stop making excuses. Stop blaming your past. Stop blaming people. Stop blaming circumstances. Own your life. Own your decisions. Own your energy. It's not about what happened, it's about what you're doing now. Are you healing? Are you learning? Are you taking the steps? Or are you just talking about change while living the same day, over and over again? The choice is always yours. Resetting your life is not something someone else can do for you. It's not a gift, it's a fight. A fight against old habits, against doubt, against fear, against everything trying to pull you back into your comfort zone. But here's the most important part. It's possible. You're not too far gone. You're not too late. You're not broken beyond repair. You're just one bold, consistent decision away from a whole new direction. And that decision starts now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, decide that this is the line in the sand, that the old version of you doesn't get to run the show anymore, that from this moment forward you are resetting everything, your mindset, your habits, your focus, your future. No more waiting, no more delaying. It's time to rise. Reset your life like your future depends on it, because it absolutely does.